Yes, what's happening, people? What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another pre-match preview at the Gunner's Corner with your boy CJ. And in this case, the pre-match preview is for Sporting Lisbon versus Arsenal Football Club in the quarterfinals, first leg of the Champions League. Now, there's been over a lot of talk over the last couple of days. Arsenal being in a bit of a difficult patch at the moment. Two back-to-back cup final. Well, the Carabao Cup final and then the FA Cup quarterfinal exits. We lost to City in the Carabao Cup final. Had to deal with that over the international break, a long, grueling 2 weeks. Come back, first game back a couple of days ago. Southampton away in the FA Cup quarterfinals, and another sort of embarrassing loss there. And again, all credit to Southampton. They deserve their 3 points. But what was embarrassing from our perspective was the performance, right? Let's be honest. Let's be real. The players that went out there, didn't put themselves their best foots forward and didn't cover themselves in any glory. Bit of a shame. But we got to get over that now, right? We're out of two cups and we have another one in front of us to fight for. And in this case, it's the Champions League, which most would argue is bigger than both the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. So we need to land ourselves in a good position now, ladies and gentlemen, and we need to get a result in this first leg. Obviously, we're looking for a win. Now, with the episode we did with the boys, I predicted a draw. But we're looking for a win here. Let's be honest, we're looking for a win in this first leg. I'm hoping my prediction is wrong, and I'm hoping we can get a win to take back to the Emirates and help boost the morale of the team and the club ahead of the Premier League game this weekend against Bournemouth. Now, Arteta had his press conference. The boys headed out to Lisbon already. Should be there by now. Arteta, like I said, had his presser, and he mentioned a couple interesting things. Of course, the main thing that we all want to know and we're concerned about is the team news, right? Let's be honest. Not much else right now is going to be as important to us. The team news is what we want to know, what we want to hear. Forget all the other waffle, forget all the other bits and bobs. Um, who's going to be fit, who's going to be available. We saw it in the training videos and the training clips that went around. Declan Rice was in training, Gabriel Magalhaes was in training. That's very positive, and that's very great news for the Arsenal. Also, the pictures went out of the players that went to travel to Lisbon. Leandro Trossard was included in that as well, alongside Gabriel and Declan Rice. And when the manager was asked about the fitness of the aforementioned players, he did confirm that Trossard, Declan Rice, and Gabriel Magalhaes would all be available. So that's very positive, and hopefully he's telling the truth there. Um, with regards to a couple others, Bukayo Saka and Yuri Timber, he did admit that those two are still out, and they're carrying something, and that we'll have to see ahead of the weekend game against Bournemouth if they're going to be available. So Bukayo and Saka and Yuri and Timber are to be determined in terms of their fitness status and their fitness levels for the weekend at least. So those two are ruled out for tomorrow. Those two are big on our right hand side, but it's a case of next man up. That's how we have to look at it now, right? Who's going to play? Who's going to step in? We have the squad. A couple of squad players let us down on the weekend against Southampton, but who's going to step in the absence of Timber and Saka on that right-hand side? And that's what we're here to predict. We're giving our pre-match preview, which includes the predicted 11, and we're going to get into it. Why not? Why waste time? Um, I think it's obviously there were other things said in the press conference, and again, this isn't a full-on press conference reaction. He mentioned or he was asked about the likes of Gyökeres, returning to his former club. Obviously Gyokeres is going to have a pep in his step. He's going to have a bounce off the back of doing what he did in the international break for Sweden. Of course, he's going to be he's going to have at least some confidence. He came back and scored on the weekend against Southampton in the game that we lost. But again, Arteta was asked about him and coming back to his former club, and Gyökeres is a top professional. He's a confident lad, especially again for sending his nation to the World Cup. He that extra bit of pep in his step, as I said, and the confidence that he's going to get from that. He should be buzzing, and he did have a lot of respectful things to say about his former club, Sporting Lisbon. Arteta did mention that, Gyökeres speaks and spoke very highly of Sporting and what he's achieved with them and his gratitude towards them. But again, now he's on our side and he's going back there and we're gonna have to take care of business with him in our team. It's as simple as that, really. So yeah, that's the big talking point. We'll see what kind of reception he gets. It's going to be interesting, definitely, because obviously he towards the end, the way he left Sporting, it wasn't the greatest. He obviously was really campaigning to leave. is essentially going on strike and um, almost forcing his way out of the club in the end. Um, but look, man, he won things with them, so there will be fans that will be grateful for that as well, and what he was able to do for them and carrying them into trophies. But again, you're always gonna get the other side of the coin of people who are gonna be, fans who are gonna be a little bit salty and boo him but also it'll be booing him for competitive nature, right? Any little psychological edge that they can help, give their team, they definitely will try and do Sporting Lisbon. So look, it's gonna be a very, very tough game, indeed, and we need a result though. That's the bottom line. Over the two legs, Arsenal is expected to get through. We are the favorites. And the semifinals is somewhere we need to progress to, especially the way we disappointingly exited out of the FA Cup and then obviously lost the Carabao Cup final. We need to show some grit and some bounce back ability here and get ourselves a result and put ourselves in a good position to qualify for the next round of the Champions League. So let's get into the predicted 11, just based on some of that team news information that we have. So obviously Raya is going to come back in goal. I say obviously, it should be obvious to anybody, who has sensed that, Raya is going to come back in goal. This is a priority competition, the Champions League. Therefore, we need to play with a number one keeper. No messing about. I don't believe so long as Raya stays fit, I don't believe Kepa should play another game this season. So there's that. No brainer, Raya in goal. Now, what do we do at right back? Let's go over to left back first because I think that's easier to determine at this moment in time. Left back is going to be, I believe it's going to be Calafiori. I think Calafiori will start, come back in for this one. He has, I mean, without Piero and Capia, that's another absentee we didn't mention. Um, and I think obviously it's clear that Calafiori is fancied over Miles Lewis-Skelly at the moment. Miles Lewis-Skelly does not look like the same player at left back playing for Arsenal at the moment. It's quite concerning. It's quite sad, and his long-term future is something we got to discuss at a later time. But um, yeah, I think as a result, Calafiori is the obvious one to step in there and start from left back, and he's gonna have to show from some fitness, Calafiori, because we don't know how long we're going to be without Nkapie. And so Calafiori is gonna have to show his fitness here and keep himself fit and available for us because we're going to need him. He can't be letting us down with these injury concerns. Um, so Calafiori at left back. I think the center backs, Saliba and Gabriel, I think will both start in this one. And let's hope that Gabriel is fine. Arteta said he is. Let's hope that's actually the case. Again, he's had a rest over the international break, Gabriel. I don't know what that was on the weekend. Hopefully, it was just something minor that made Gabriel pull out of the game against Southampton. But I think Gabriel and Saliba are going to start tomorrow, especially because we need a response. I don't think we're going to have to mess about, or Arteta's going to want to mess about with the lineup. We're going to have to put a strong lineup out to get a result. Because if we don't, it's going to be even more spotlight and headlines and pressure on the manager. So I think Gabriel and Saliba will start. Right back. Ooh. I'm hesitant because I'm wondering if Arteta's going to drop Ben White and maybe do like a play Mascara there in the absence of a Timber, because Ben White's performance was that bad where, yeah, he deserved to be dropped. He really does deserve to be dropped. Like that performance against Southampton was poor. And he went away for England again, had a mixed time, scored in the first game. In the second game, he apparently he didn't have the best of performances, came off after I think close to 60 minutes in that second game for England. And then yeah, played full 90 for us and was poor. Um, what's he gonna do here? I think Mikel Arteta is gonna start with I think he's gonna start with Ben White. I think he'll persist with him. The question is really, can Ben White play? I'm going to backtrack. I think he's going to start Mascara because I think he'll maybe look at it as well from a fitness point of view. Can Ben White play, you know, I don't know, 3 games in quick succession, from the two he played for with England and then playing against Southampton and playing a couple days later against Sporting from the start. Again, he played full 90 on the weekend against Sporting. Um, so sorry, against Southampton. So will again, we have to manage his fitness at the moment because Ben White's fitness has been a concern at the moment for us. I'm kind of torn, people. What do you guys think? That's a contentious one. That's an interesting one. I think you'll start with Mascara and give White a rest because I think may come into things on the weekend in the Premier League. But my guess right now is if you're asking me, I think Mascara starts at right back tomorrow, and that's just purely to give Ben White a rest. I believe that's what we can do there. Otherwise, we don't have much other options, right? With Timber out. Let's go into midfield. I think the midfield three we're going to see is a midfield three that Arteta would have used to start the system to start the season. You know, a midfield that he trusts and believes in. And that is Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. Let's just say how it is. Those three start. Again, the importance of the competition comes back into play. This isn't the FA Cup or Carabao Cup, you know, respectfully. So I think, you know, he's going to treat the Champions League as a priority, and as he should, or at least I expect him to. I want him to, because that's a priority for me is the Champions League, and no messing about. So you got to play you know, your available squad, your strong squad, and Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard. I think that's your, you know, so long um Eze is out, you know, you got to start Odegaard, I guess, in that sort of number 10 position. Him being the captain, he is back from injury. Didn't have the greatest of performances. It was kind of mixed against Southampton for Odegaard, but he's probably going to start this one. Again, the importance of it. He's club captain. Declan Rice comes back in. Manager said he's fit without a shadow of a doubt. That's the obvious thing to do. You bring Declan Rice back in, one of our best players. Importance of the game. You know, get Deckers on the pitch. And Zubimendi, you know, you're gonna start him, throw him back in from the start because again, he's our starting midfield player alongside Declan Rice there. You know, Norgard just is another level to start in such a high stakes game. So hopefully Zubimendi's fit and available to play. We're gonna need him and we're gonna need him back to his best. So Zubimendi starts in there with Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. Now your front three, here's where things get a little bit tricky. I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Trossard is gonna start on the left. Again, Martinelli, despite the fact that he's been performing pretty poorly for Arsenal, he's also come back from travel with Brazil and he's played for Brazil, played on the weekend. Maybe Arteta's gonna manage him and his minutes and fitness as well. Um, Albeit the last time Trossard started a game, he wasn't great. Let's be honest. You know, I don't think Trossard was great the last time he started against City in the cup final. He was actually anonymous. So we have a problem at left wing at the moment that we know we need to upgrade it, but that's a summer issue. So for the here and now, we got to make it work. And I think Trossard will come back in from the start against Sporting Lisbon. Got a nice long rest over the break, and hopefully he's fit. And again, he did travel and whatnot, so he should be back in the squad from the left wing. On the right wing, I think well, actually, let me start up top. Up top, we're going to see Victor Gyokeres because Gabriel Jesus, he just is not it. Let's just, you know, the less said about that, the better. Gabriel Jesus is finished. We've discussed that. We've gone over that. And yeah, he's you know gonna have to hold bench for a while or for the rest of the season. So Victor Gyokeres up top. You know, going back to your old club. You know, you are the main man in our side. You were once the main man for them. And now you're the man for us. You know, decent goal scoring return this season. He still has ways to go, and can he help us get over the line? In either of these competitions, I think he'll be buzzing for this one. And yeah, it's going to be hostile for him likely, but you know, we expect Victor Gyokeres to hold his nerve. You know, big time character. So yeah, no problems with that. Victor Gyokeres starting up top. I think Havertz does need a break as well. He's another option to play up top, but I think he needs a break. So you bring back Victor Gyokeres to the side, and then hopefully he can fire us to glory into the next round. Let's see if he gets a goal or two against this former side, Victor Gyokeres. Um, on the right hand side, I think he's going to start with Noni Madueke. Now there's conversations that he should start with a Max Dowman. Um, but to be honest with you, I think he's going to start with Madueke. He's going to use the seniority thing. He's also maybe going to want to rest Max Dowman and not give him too much football. You know, 16 years of age. You don't want to overplay the kid. So have him on the bench, Max Dowman, because he's proving to be an important part of our run-in right now. And it's crazy to say for a 16-year-old, but um, yeah, I think, you know, would so because we need to rest him and because Bukayo Saka is not fit and available, I think Madueke is the default player to start on that right wing. Hopefully he shows more than what he did on the weekend and you know, Madueke does this thing where sometimes if he does something silly or embarrassing, like run the ball out of play or boot the ball out into Rose Ed, you know, way over the goal, you know, he'll do this little smirk or smile after. Like, buddy, it's not funny, you know, fix up. if you're not performing and you need to step up your performances when you do those kind of foolish mistakes and uncharacteristic and idiotic mistakes as a professional footballer, it's not funny, man. If we're losing a game or we're not getting the result that we need to, get back into position, lock in. We don't want to see a smile. You're on TV, the cameras are on you. Don't be smiling, you know. Anyways, so Noni Madueke needs to fix up and get his performances right and work on his end product for goodness sake, man. Listen, the last time we played in the Champions League against Leverkusen in the first leg, he was influential in winning the penalty for us. That got us a point. And so, hopefully he can do something again in this game for us against Sporting and turn up the heat. Assuming he's fit, because he did have that injury right for England, but he played on the weekend, so essentially maybe he put that injury behind him. And so long as he's fit and available, Madueke, he's going to start on that right hand side, I believe. So there you have it. That's my 1 to 11. Raya in goal. I did say Mascara at right back, but let me know what you guys think. Is it going to be Ben White? Is it going to be Mascara? I've gone with Mascara because I think he'll give White a rest. Saliba and Gabriel center backs, Calafiori left back, Zubimendi, Rice, and Odegaard in midfield. Trossard on the left, Gyökeres up top, Madueke on the right. People, let's hope for a good result for the Arsenal tomorrow. We want to take something back to the Emirates. Obviously, a win would be fantastic, but a draw wouldn't be a horrible result either. We just need to show some sort of form and performance and bounce back after two disappointing cup exits. So let's hopefully Mikel Arteta can get it right and get the boys riled up. Please, everybody, like, share, subscribe, and hype up the video. It really, really does help us. We're growing, we're learning, we're engaging every day, and we're here locked in for you guys. So this has been CJ from the Gunners Corner with a pre-match preview and predicted 11. Come on, you Gunners. Let's get it back in the Champions League tomorrow. All right, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye bye.